So this is this grid system that is actually built by one of the Angular packages. I'm just gonna mute 1 second. So it's one of these Angular packages, and it gives you some pretty cool tooling for setting up the pages. I like to use this as my primary way to like design the pages and make sure they are responsive and all that. Maybe I can find some documentation or something. So you can set these breakpoints, set these grids that you can easily determine how it's gonna change when you, for example, make it smaller. I don't know if it's set up here so it can stack. Not here, but you can set like rules how it's gonna stack on mobile. Like this is, and you can set rules. You can see how it's gonna change depending on that. I think the easiest way to do this is use Flex layout. So I'll when I design my pages, I like to base it on Flex layout. So you use these, you can do stuff like this, having ng style that only applies for certain screen sizes. You can do show height, for example, that it's relevant for certain screen sizes. So when I make this smaller, some of these might disappear. Or the classic one with just stacking. When it gets to a certain size, it'll then stack. We can find some grids as well. So this is just a bunch of examples. You can see here how it's, for example, implemented. So FX Flex, which is basically just creating creating like saying flex from CSS Flex, but this should be like 15, 30, and 55. So it's like a different factor, and it will take up space accordingly. And then you can set rules like extra small, then it's gonna change like that. So if you wanted to stack it in other ways, for example, here it's going to be like row-like stack when it's so when it's a big size, it's gonna stack as along the row. It's gonna like take up space along the row. If it gets smaller, you can make it stack, for example, on extra small devices using this thing, using the extra small. So yeah, I definitely prefer this because it minimizes the amount of JavaScript you need to write to actually set up the page structure, and it's very fast to set up a page like that when you just build it like this. You just say this should be 15 out of the whole combined thing. This is like so this is out of 100. This should be 30 out of 100, and this should be like 55 out of 100. So it's going to be a little bigger. So yeah, this is the main thing you need to know about the layout, Flex layout. So you set it up using a Flex layout module, and here you can also do the for root, and you can override the default media sizes. Yeah, you can override the default media size, different screen sizes, which are going to be triggered when you, for example, use the extra small rules here. So basically, you can set like layout is going to be Flex layout e.row is going along the row axis or the column axis. So normal thing when you stack, you want to have it default on the row axis, but when it gets to a small device, you want to have it on the columns. And then you basically just set, the different columns here. You set them using this factor here. And then you can change that, as it, for example, for different screen sizes. And I've done that myself in some of my, for example, my course portal is using that as well. And it's very beneficial when you build an app that should both be like responsive on mobile, iPad, and desktop. Then it definitely saves you a lot of time when you just use this, because you don't need to know anything else. Just flex FX layout, row or column, and usually you will have row as default and maybe column as you maybe go on extra small devices. And then it's just, FX flex could be like 50-50. So that means like 50% of the space will go for this field here, and then 50% for this. Yeah, like this again, and you can do other stuff like FX height, for example, and then I can FX height dot larger than large devices, and then I can hide this on large devices if I want. Let's see if there's some other examples. So nested grid, you can do something like a nested grid. You can do other examples do we have? It's like a static. So you can do also a grid gap. So you can do FX gap, layout gap. Also, all of these rules you can apply for different screen sizes, which is pretty cool. And then FX gap, it could be something like, you want to set a gap with 2 pixels. So now it's going to be 2 pixels between, this is a bad example here because only one element, but I can take this. So it'll be like 2 pixels between each child element. So you can do cool stuff like that. So for grids, which is basically how you want to structure your page, I definitely recommend using a flex layout for that. I think it works really nice. You can also do something like offset if you want this to be empty. You want to push everything a little bit to one side. You can do like some like alignment. It's just something from Flexbox. Do like toggle direction. You can change directions. I'm just going to post a link to this. So this might be something you want to consider checking out for your projects. I think it's very cool how you can set up the page structure with this. It's definitely one of the easiest ways I've seen. Does it support accessibility standards? Good question. Let me check. Like, what kind of accessibility standards are you talking about? I think this is basically the main thing it does. We've got these stacking these different screen sizes, and then you can set different rules for setting up the grid, and different rules for example, what to do on different screen sizes. I don't think it does necessarily has anything to do with accessibility. Like it wouldn't do anything with that. It's just a grid system, and it can help you show or hide things on different screen sizes, and make sure. So this is basically creating the skeleton of your pages. So will be some of the first things you will do when you build a new page in an Angular application. You would build that with the Flex layout. All right, so I posted the link. You can check that out and see if it can work for you for the projects you're working on. Personally, I prefer this over any other grid system. With Angular, I think it's better than Bootstrap grid and different other grid options that are out there. Because it's mostly it's based on Flexbox, and also got this cool responsive tooling, so you can easily hide and show different screen sizes, and it's compatible with Angular. You're using Angular directives. So yeah.